Do you want the world to go back to normal after all of this is over? If I'm honest, no, I don't.
Don't get me wrong, I can't wait to hug loved ones or go to school or work without the fear of COVID-19.
But I'm not sure that I want to return to the world that we were living in.
To the world that, let's be honest, we're all still in.
The world is full of injustice, pain and poverty.
Our planet is neglected and people aren't cared for. I don't want to return to a world where this is normal.
Perhaps this season is an opportunity for us to all stop and imagine a better world, a more just and equal world.
This pandemic has exposed the massive inequalities across our world.
Where for many people, lockdown has meant cramped living conditions, no access to sanitation or running water, and not even enough food to feed their families.
For people living in poverty who don't have the means to protect themselves or to work from home, this crisis has really been disastrous.
Those living in an already precarious position due to droughts, floods and storms brought on by the climate crisis, they've been left in an even more vulnerable position than before.
But you see, if we've already learned how to come together as a community during this pandemic, let's come together globally to fix this.
Let's not go back to living our own individual lives where we only care about ourselves.
Let's change. Let's think about others.
Whether they live down the street or on the other side of the world.
Let's cling to the kindness and generosity that we have discovered as we leave lockdown.
Let's commit to loving others and bringing justice across the world.
We don't have to simply go back to the way things were. Let's create a new normal.
Let's make justice the new normal.
Let's dare to imagine a world where no one goes to bed hungry at night or is nowhere to sleep.
Let's imagine a world where every child has access to an education.
A world who cares for the planet as if their lives depend on it.
Because it does.
A world in which every human being is valued and loved just for who they are.
It's a big task and a lot to imagine.
It can feel overwhelming looking at everything that's going on in the world, and it's so much easier to just ignore it and let someone else deal with it.
You might feel like what you do right now doesn't matter, but we're here to tell you that it does.
That daily choices you take to pursue justice matter.
You have influence and you have power that you can use for good.
Just think of arguably the biggest game changer and most influential person in history. Jesus Christ.
He pursued justice simply by how he lived his life. He loved others, and we are called to follow in his example and love our global neighbours.
When we are seeking him and following where he leads, we are seeking justice by default.
Just think about the change that could happen if we all started to change one by one.
If we started to care about where our food or clothing came from.
If we committed to practically reducing our impact on the planet through our daily choices.
If we viewed every pound that we spend as a vote for the world that we want to live in.
If we all began giving generously with our money and our time.
And if we committed to challenging governments and systems to make changes that cared for people and for the planet.
If we all started to change one by one, the impact could be huge.
So tell people about it, get people to join on this journey with you, inspire your communities.
It's so much easier to turn off the news and ignore it. But if we want anything to ever change, we need to start with ourselves.
But let's not simply wait until lockdown is over to start. Let's pursue it right now.
During this time, we have learned the reason we often don't do things isn't a time issue. It's a priority issue.
Nothing magical will happen after we leave lockdown.
Fighting injustice isn't going to come naturally. We need to work for it.
But you see, the only change that you can be certain of is the change that you make yourself.
We need others to follow, we need governments to change, we need systems to be reinvented.
But the one thing that you have control over is your life and how you live it.
Let's use our lives together to pursue justice.
I really hope things don't go back to normal.